Hi. In our last video, we discussed about multiple variable assignment in Python. We saw how elegant it is to assign multiple values simultaneously to their respective multiple variables. In this video, we are going to see how multiple variables can be swapped in a more elegant way using Python. In order to continue with the previous video, we have to collect the informations that we have already learned in the earlier video to synchronize with this current demonstration that I'm going to show in this tutorial. So let's go straight into the demo. If you look at this example, this example is going to be pretty simple, not too complicated. So let's reiterate what we have learned in the earlier video. In the earlier video, we declared multiple variables like this, and we can assign the value simultaneously to all these three variables. It could be a direct value injection like this, or you can have some expressions like another variable of expression 1, expression 2, or expression 3. So these variables can be assigned to the value as a value to another three variables simultaneously. This is what we have learned in the earlier video. Having that said, I guess with this piece of information, we can go ahead and understand how the multiple variables can be swapped quickly in Python using this pattern of assignment expressions. So firstly, I'm going to declare a variable called first name, which is going to carry a value called Steve. Okay, and I'm going to have another variable called last name. In that, I'm going to carry a value called jobs. Now, this might seems to be a correct initialization of values to their respective variables. Steve and jobs are assigned to the correct variable, but the use cases, I want to interchange these values. The value jobs should go to the first name and the value Steve should come down to the last name. In that perspective, we are actually approaching to the mechanism of swapping the variables. Means swapping the value of the variables. To be more precise, it's not just about swapping the variable. The value of the variable is getting swapped. How do we approach this? Firstly, in a language like Java, okay, or any other language like C or C++, we tend to go for a third variable declaration, and that's called as a temp variable. We declare a temp variable, and in the temp variable, I'm going to assign the variable value of first name. So first name is getting assigned to the temp variable. Later, I'm going to use the first name to carry the value of last name. Once the last name value is assigned to the first name, now the first name is carrying the value of the last name, but the last name is still going to carry the value of the last name itself. So if I go and print the value of first name, and if I print the value of the last name variable, you should notice that both represent jobs. So what happened here is first name value is now changed to Steve. I'm sorry, changed to jobs. But what is the value of the temp? If you notice here, it seems to be the value of the first name. What was the value of the first name? It's nothing but Steve. So first name value, the first name value is holded by a variable called temp. Later, the first name variable value got changed to the value of the last name. Now, we can go ahead and say that your last name variable should carry a value of that temp, which is temporarily holding the value of Steve. So by this way, if I execute, you should notice that the first name becomes the Jobs and the last name becomes Steve. This is the style of swapping that usually we used to do in other programming languages. Even in Python, it works the same. Okay, there's no much difference. But what we are going to do right now is we are going to create an elegant way of syntax in order to swap these variables. How? Let's go to the new cell. It's pretty simple to swap just by carrying the first name variable, comma, last name variable. This syntax seems to be the same like what we have discussed in the earlier tutorial, right? Couple of variables separated with comma, and you're going to assign the value to it. But how you're going to assign the value here? Since we have this style of coding, you can quickly guess that what I'm going to do next is just take the last name variable, comma, and take the first name variable. By this way, what we do here is we take the value of the variable. This is the value side. This is going to be your value side, and this is going to be your variable side, right? So to the variable of first name, I'm going to assign the value of last name. Last name variable's value is going to be assigned here, and the last name variable is going to carry the first name variable value. See how simple it is. Without utilizing the third variable like temp, we are able to do the swapping. So the value of Jobs, which was carried by last name, and the value of Steve, which was carried by the first name, is going to be interchanged with the help of this simple style of swapping mechanism. Now if I have a third variable, and if you want to swap them in some specific order, you can still go ahead and do it with the same style of implementation without looking out for the third temporary variable for doing the swapping here. So if I go ahead and print these two statements of first name and last name, obviously it would have got swapped by now. So initially, if you look at this first name and last name variable value are Steve and Jobs, later it got changed to Jobs and Steve. This is very simplified style of coding in order to do the swapping. More interestingly, it is not just for the couple of variables that we are doing swapping here. We can also do the swapping for multiple variables. If you have a third variable and you want to perform the swapping for the third variable as well, you should arrange it in specific order, which is very much important. In which order that you want to save the value of the variable is very much notable. So you should look out for the order first and then assign the variable. So multiple variable assignment concept in Python is helping us to perform the multiple variable swapping as well. So with this, we end this tutorial. In the next session, we'll discuss another new concept. Thank you.